Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have returning guest James Hale out of Houston, Texas. Last episode we talked about Airbnb. We talked a little bit about what he's doing in the oil and gas space, but I really wanted to delve in and talk about the oil and gas space on this episode. I haven't had this conversation with anyone else here before. James, welcome back to the show.
Hey, how are you doing today, man? So, yeah, let's just jump into it. So I'm going to explain a little bit of what I've invested in since about 2020, 2021, the way it's worked for me and why I kind of fell in love with this asset space. So let's dive in. So what I purchased, what I talked about earlier is mineral rights, right? So what are the mineral rights? So if you've ever bought real estate, I'm going to go really fast, by the way.
Go ahead.
If you've ever bought real estate, you've signed something that says, hey, I either have access or own, or I do not. I recognize that I don't own the mineral rights under this property, right? It's coming in pretty much every one of my real estate deals. And that's what we're buying. So what it is like, say, here's the land and here's your house on top of it, right? There's three things you can own. You can own the surface rights, which is typically what you do when you buy real estate. You can own the air, and you can own all the minerals underneath it, right? That is what we're purchasing. Now, why would we want to purchase that, right? Why would we want to have access to it? Well, there's things like gold, silver, other rare earth minerals that have value, but the stuff that we're looking at buying specifically is oil and gas, mineral rights that are rich in oil and gas, right? So what happens is you own this plot of land, and I've got a little thing for you here, a little, I don't know if you remember these Capri Suns, if people are
Of course. Yeah.
I love these things, man. Oil and gas company comes over and puts their well on, and they start to extract oil and gas from it, right? That's their business. They take it out, they sell it as is, or refine draw, and that goes into your gas, into your car, into jets, into all sorts of clothing, all sorts of stuff. The way it works is for every dollar that they make when they pump something out, right? You get paid a percentage of that, right? It's either anywhere from 12.5% to 25%, depending on the leases and stuff like that. But the perk of this is, the one thing I love about it is you are, in a sense, partnering with the oil and gas company. They're doing all the work. They take all the liability. If this thing burns up, or falls over, you don't have to pay anything. Nothing comes out of your pocket, right? So it's purely passive, purely liability free. No one's going to steal what's a mile under down the earth, and no one's going to burn it. Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to have a tenant call up and be like, hey, the toilet broke. I know it's Sunday at like 5 p.m., but we need it fixed right now. You're not going to have any of that stuff. It's all the responsibility of the oil and gas company, and they're motivated to put money in your pocket because they want to make more dollars, and every piece of that dollar, you get a certain percentage, and you just sit there, right? It's also not one oil well dependent, because you could have like 4 or 5 or 6 of them, just depending on how much they can fit on the property, right? So this is what I like about it, and that is why one of the reasons it's so good. It's passive. It's like real estate. Who doesn't use oil and gas type thing? And so that's one reason I fell in love with it, because I'm not gonna have any tenants break their lease. I'm not gonna redo roofs. My taxes, insurance aren't gonna fly through the roof or anything like that. There's a bit of tax savings as well. For you get like 10 or 15% off of the revenue that you receive on it because it's a non-renewable resource.
Yeah.
Uh, but I fell in love with it, so I've got a pretty penny into it, and I'm doing quite well. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Now, I don't know how much we can dive into this, James, but how does one even get into the oil and gas space?
So that is hard. Let's put it this way: it's really easy to get in oil and gas if you're okay with losing all your money. I'll say that right now. Okay, very very easy, very easy. But anybody that's been around the real estate block has known that either whether it's a seller, whether it's a wholesaler, whether it's a buyer, everybody wants to take more money out of your pocket, not putting it in, right? Deals are hard to come by. You get wholesalers that are like this is worth this property. You look at it and you're like, hey, if it was across the highway, it would, but it's in the shack part of town, right? It is not worth $1 million. In my personal experience, oil and gas industry is even worse, and this is why. How did you look at real estate before the internet? Anybody know? I'll tell you right now. You called a realtor and they flipped through this giant book of listings, right? And they said, "Oh yeah, we got this one, this one, this one." And when one sold, they took the page out, or they marked it out, or they put pending on it, or something like that, right? It was this old school way of doing it. And you had to look at a realtor. You had to go through a realtor. You had to go through an appraiser to actually get it to buy it, right? Same thing. You have to go through if you want an appraisal or something. You have to go through like a landman, or you can do appraisers as well, and the real estate a geologist or something like that. But the way that I have found to get in the easiest way is through the risking lots of capital, right? I have found a few wholesalers that I really like and do good work. They're honest. They're like, hey, this is the deal type thing. They don't try to pull something over on anybody. And so that's who I buy from, right? Now it depends which basin you're in, right? I'll tell you this right now. Don't go to any smaller basin. Just go for the big 3 to 5, right? I would say probably 2 out of the big 3 are the ones you want to look at, and you won't even get a seat at the table unless you have $5 million in your pocket on some of them. In some, you need 50 million, right? So that's probably going to count out most average Joes like me. But through my wholesalers and stuff, we can buy bits and pieces that are like 25,000 at a time. So
So
that
let's dive into this here. So a lot of terminology thrown at us here. Basin. You mentioned you want to stick away from certain basins. I don't even know where we're talking about here. Help break this down for us here.
Yeah. All right. So what I mean by basin, it's like, let me tell you real estate. You can build a house anywhere, right? You
Yeah.
can literally build a house, put it anywhere. Why do you want to build it like in Dallas or Houston or Austin or something like that? Why not just build it in the Sahara? Because you're not going to have any renters. Okay, you could do that. You could build it in the middle of nowhere. You can build it in podunk nowhere. Put $100,000 into it. But if all your renters are they're only making 30 or 50,000 a year max, and they can only afford $1,100 in rent, you should not. You can do whatever you want. Put like 700,000 into building a house if you can only get that much rent. The math just doesn't work out. So my point is, there's oil everywhere. There's oil under your house. There's oil under everything. But the issue is, it's not enough oil to be profitable to pull out, right? It's not worth the risk. So under your house, there might be like, if you dig deep enough, there might be like 100 barrels, maybe 1,000, right? That's not enough for the oil and gas company to spend $10 million a rig. Again, $10 million a rig to go 1 to 3 miles down, maybe 1 to 3 miles out to look for oil, right? And to pull it out, to extract it. So basins are places that we have discovered that have
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
high concentrations to where, hey, it's worth it, right? So West Texas, right? The Permian Basin, right? In Oklahoma, you've got the Anadarko, you've got some north in the Bakken, the North Dakota, you've got the Eagle Ford in Texas, you've got some plays in the in and around the Rockies and the California and the Colorado side. So my point is, in real estate terms, stick to the real estate that has performed for the last 30, 50 years and will continue to perform for the last 30 and 50 years, right? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to buy what we call buying a dry hole, right?
Okay.
In other words, you spend $10 million and nothing comes up, right? Or what happens is you spend $10 million mostly and it comes up and it produces really well for like a month or two. And then it goes like, you're making like dollars as opposed to hundreds or thousands of dollars in 6 months, right? That's basically what we call a dry hole in the industry. So that's what you want. You want to stick with major. In other words, if we're analyzing it to real estate, stick to the big cities, stick to Houston, Dallas, to New York, right? To LA. Don't go trying to find oil in podunk nowhere, if that makes sense. So West Texas, Oklahoma, North and South Dakota areas and stuff like that. That's what I mean by it.
Those are the good areas.
Those
You
are the
mentioned
big-
you mentioned wholesalers. So there's oil and gas wholesalers. There's people who are specifically mining these deals in the oil and gas space, just the paper.
Yeah, it's just like real estate. Literally, for mineral rights,
Uh-huh.
you can 1031 exchange. I've done several 1031 exchanges from selling my real estate and putting it into minerals. So yeah,
Wow.
you can wholesale it just like that. Now, again, unless you have $5 million in your pocket, typically you're not going to even get a seat at the table. A seat. That doesn't mean you're going to buy anything. If it makes sense, right? This
Right.
is more like a commercial thing, and lending is not very lending friendly. Let's put it that way.
Okay, okay. So if I'm understanding the dots correctly here, someone who's new to the investing space and they want to go and they want to get into, not, I shouldn't say new to investing, new to oil and gas investing, and they want to go and they want to break into this. The simplest, fastest way to do it, if you have a lot of money, is to get a seat at the table, start looking at these deals from these wholesalers and buying. You mentioned the three basins, Houston, West Texas. I think you mentioned
Don't buy
Oklahoma.
an oil rig in Houston. The Permian,
Uh-huh.
Anadarko, and the Bakken.
Okay.
You can Google those terms: Permian, Anadarko, and Bakken.
Okay. And then so you were able to, without having that massive lump sum of capital, you were able to get in through a smaller deal that was brought to you, and you were able to partner with folks on this deal. How did that deal come down?
Yeah, so through my network, from my last story, I was just looking at oil plays, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, found a few good wholesalers and bought, uh, uh, not millions of dollars, but a substantial amount at first, and saw how it played out, and then after about a year and a half or so, said, okay, hey, this works. I've proofed it, and now I've got a bunch of partners that are buying it with me. I manage it for them, do everything, and show them the deal type thing, and take a little off the monthly, and they just sit back and relax on the beach.
Incredible. So for the, I'm trying to even grasp at terms here. For the expansion of this, it feels like there's levels in this oil and gas space, and they go up quickly. Like it's not like in I'm thinking in real estate terms, you have wholesaling, then you might do fix and flipping, then you might do short term, mid term, commercial. In oil and gas, it feels like you already have to start at a high level, and then from there it's a huge jump. Is there a way to scale in this, or is it really like you have to, it's kind of like AAA in the big leagues?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So it's more like getting into the major leagues in baseball. Like
Yeah.
there's not much middle ground. There's not much small ponds to start at, right? There is like if you partner with me, you can start with like 25,000 or so, right? And that's a good starting point. But yeah, it goes up substantially, right? In the oil and gas spot, there's two to three, I guess, plays you could do. There's mineral rights, which what we're buying now. There's actually you can invest in oil wells, right? Put
Hmm.
it on there. You can do leasehold positions, which are basically you buy old wells and you try to negotiate with the new sellers or have new oil and gas companies come in and partner with your leasehold. Um, there's and those are all shale plays, by the way. And we're not doing anything in the Gulf. In the Gulf, take everything you need in the shale and add an extra zero to it, right? That's why you only see companies. You're not like, hey, I know Joe Smith that's going to be an oil rig in the Gulf. No, no, unless Joe Smith is a billionaire himself. No, it just takes so much capital to do these things. Like
Yeah.
I'm partnered. I've got some ownership in the second largest pipeline in the Gulf. Right, that thing is that one of the reasons we bought it is because um, it was kind of a real estate play. They're not making new pipelines in the Gulf, right? Because it's so expensive to do, and the risk is you're not going to see return capital of that risk in 5 years or less, right? If someone's going to put a new pipeline in the Gulf, so the infrastructure that's there is worth so much more because it's already there, right? It's like think about if there's highways, but no one can build highways because concrete is $1 billion a cubic foot.
Yeah.
To put highways, they have potholes, just patch them, right? And they're worth something. And so my point is that the minerals plays easy. I've got some interest, some a little bit of drilling interest that comes in if people want, but mostly what I'm doing right now is mineral rights, and
Are
it's
you
good
from
long term as well.
Are you familiar? Is there anybody doing like syndications with this? So for people who are, you mentioned starting with smaller sums of money, 25,000, 50,000, and they're syndicating to get to that 5, 10 million, 20 million X multiplier, or is it really that's not a thing that happens in the oil and gas space?
Um, the syndications that I know of are not really with minerals, but they're with drilling new wells, right? And this is where it can be. I extremely encourage caution. Again, it's your money, you do what you want, right? Because what'll happen is people will say, "Hey, we're gonna drill 4 oil wells, right? We're putting them in the Permian. We're going down to the Woodford Shale or whatever. Like they're gonna name a bunch of shale plays and stuff, and throw a bunch of fancy words and stuff like that. And then we're raise $55 million to put these 4 wells in. Da, da, da. And you're gonna make money. You make 4x. They'll tell you. I've heard the first time I heard it was 4x on your money back. I think they're down to 3.2 or 3.8 now or something like that. This certain company, but the issue is this is number one, remember what I said earlier, it takes an oil company an estimated $10 million to put one of these in,
Yeah.
right? Well, if they say, hey, we're doing 4 and we're raising $55 million, what starts to go off in your mind?
There's only $15 million worth of
Well,
profit.
yeah, well, no, to them,
Yeah, to
because
them.
it only costs $40 million, but they're raising 55. Well, why are you raising 55? And typically, maybe not exactly, but he goes, oh, that 15 million just, oh yeah, there it just goes in their back pocket, is my point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies that do that or do something similar to that, right? And what that does is that dilutes down all of your gains, right? By whatever the math is. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and then you make less as an investor, right? Because they're owning 15 million of that automatically, and you're getting shorted from the get-go. The other thing is this is a lot of times when they do that, they don't really drill also in the best places. They drill in some okay places. But the thing is they get you in where they say, hey, you can write it off on your taxes, and it's true depending on the year. I think our current president might bring it back to where when I first got into oil wells, it was 100%. So you put 100 grand into this oil well, you took $100,000 off of your taxes. So you made 250 that quarter million that year. Your taxable income was 150. Woof. And by the time Trump does it again, maybe if you're 150 or under, you might not have to pay any tax. Who knows?
Yeah.
I, I don't know. We'll see. Uh, but we'll see what happens. But a lot, like I exercise caution with that. So there's not a lot of syndications I know that go for minerals. A lot of times it's just direct ownership. I do a kind of a mixed thing where I'm managing it for them and help people get into the industry that way.
Mhm.
People, again, you're free to do what you want. You go anywhere you want. But I'm just saying, I've almost gotten robbed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars
From
because
the same type of deal.
yeah, getting it with the wrong people, I should say.
Pivoting a bit here, I mean, I think of oil and gas as being like the main mineral that people are going to be looking for. It's not too often that, you're digging for gold here in the 21st century. But you do hear about like lithium, right? And so are there any other mineral spaces that, are batted around, tossed around in the oil and gas space? Or is it really like pretty much heavily America's oil and gas, and that's the mineral that we're looking for here?
Well, America's got gold mines, they got silver mines, coal, they've got all sorts of stuff, right? But
Right.
what you find is that you're asking really, hey, when we buy this stuff, right? We own everything underneath it that's of value, right? If you could sell the dirt, we would sell it, okay?
Right.
The thing that I find is that if an area is highly concentration with oil and gas, it doesn't have a lot of gold or silver there, or lithium to the most part, right? The
Yeah.
the the high concentration I found lithium, or like if here's the oil and gas patch we're buying, go about 60 miles this way and you might have it, right? But you're
Hmm.
not going to have a lot of oil and gas. You know what I'm saying? And lithium is the thing people are jumping on. I'm not convinced on it yet. I'm not. Let's put this. I'm not buying minerals just for lithium, right? Because it's
Yeah.
too long to play. I want cash right now. As far as gold and ore or whatever, if people can mine it out and find it, they're gonna pay us, because we own it, that our share of it. But typically, when you're buying at a spot with oil and gas, it doesn't have a bunch of other stuff that you can mine out. It's not like gold miners are fighting for turf on the surface of the earth from oil and gas companies.
Yeah, it's
It's
different.
yeah, gold is over here, oil's over here, silver's over there with gold, and there's lithium over here, and there's water over here. So yeah,
Different, all different. Well,
it's just
that
where Mother Nature. Yeah,
I think we covered a lot of ground here today. It was a crash course for me in oil and gas investing. Man, it's impressive that people like yourself are able to break into this space and really, self teach. It's so complicated. Just hearing you talk about it, I'm like, man. And it does sound like in a lot of ways they're still doing things that would be considered like old school by modern real estate standards. Like it's behind a lock and a door to a large degree. So again, thanks for hopping on here. Congrats on your success, and thanks for educating me and the audience here about this space.
no problem, man. So again, the reason I got into it, I love it, is it's passive. It does have these really nice booms and nice tails to it, which I can get into later. But I've got a bunch of videos that I made that will educate everybody on this space. If you're interested, you can just email me at James at JTH Buyer. Again, James at jthbuyer.com. Let me where's my pen? I don't have a pin on me, but it'll be James at JTH Buyer. Let me there we go. Can I send this to the screen?
James at jthbuyer.com. I got it.
All right. But yeah, shoot me an email type thing. Or give me a call or whatever, and I'm here to help type thing. You don't have to buy me, you don't have to like partner with me or anything like that. But I'm just here to help you because, like I said, I almost lost a few $100,000 in from these deals, and someone helped me get out of that, which I'm very thankful for. And so yeah, but yeah, if you curious anything, again, it's just like real estate, except there's no liability. So I like it, especially coming into this next wave where people think energy is going to be really used and really needed. And kind of there's the feeling of $60 a barrel for oil is a new 45 or something,
Yeah.
and that gas is going to be used extremely hugely by AI. So during the gold rush, bunch of people went to California to mine for gold, right? You know who made a lot of money during that? It might have been like 1 or 2% of the gold people that made actually good money. You know who made the most money per person in that?
Who?
The people that sold the shovels and the wheelbarrows.
Hmm.
So, what's shovels and wheelbarrows in the next I think 10, 20 years? It's going to be energy, right? AI with these data centers is going to be huge for energy intake. They're already saying there's going to be a shortage, especially natural gas, and so we think that's going to be a huge. That's the shovels and wheelbarrows of this next AI gold revolution.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken with two people in the last 2 days who their whole business is AI. Another gentleman who has put in a substantial investment into an AI company here today. So you're not wrong. There's so much investment, specifically in the real estate space. It seems to be one of the leading adopters of AI. So yeah, thanks for coming on, and I just had my mind opened up to all the possibilities here once again uh, from this conversation. So thanks for hopping on here, James.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks. Happy to be of service. And again, if you're viewing and you're interested, contact me, and we'll talk more. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.